Hello, everyone, and welcome to Sold with Updike Pugh.
I'm Jeff Updike.
I'm Weston Pugh, and today on episode 318, we are going to take a look at a really great two-story townhome, or three-story townhome over on Wellborn.
And in our second segment today, we're going to talk about price it right, make it move.
It is really important these days, critical, so listen up on that one. What have you been up to before we jump into all this?
I went to a really great concert this weekend. I went to see Above and Beyond, and Adrian and I were having dinner Thursday night, and he's like, "Hey, Stefan and Henry and some other people are going to go see this. Do you want to see it?" And I said, I'm not familiar with it. And he's like, "Well, just look them up on YouTube." Well, the first video that comes up was them playing at Coachella this year, and it is a DJ, a group of guys. I think there's three of them in the group that are DJs that put on an incredible light show. And it went at it was at it's not Gexa, Dos Equis Pavilion out at Fair Park. Which, if you've ever been there, there is the covered part and then there's the outside uncovered part on the lawn. This is one of those concerts that we are so happy we had lawn tickets on, because you stood up, you danced the entire concert.
That's awesome.
So great.
That's awesome.
What'd you do?
I did some ceramics. I had some fails and had some wins. I don't have the pictures of them, but I will bring them up. And then I played in a pickleball tournament, very last minute, and didn't do so great. My paddle actually broke. Not my fault. It just broke. So anyway, no, I didn't pull a Serena, but yes, it did break. So, but you know what else is going on right now? The market is really doing the most it can right now.
It is. Inventory's still growing, which we see a lot of times this year. Coming soon, we're up 31%. New active listings are down just a little bit, but I can't even tell you why. It's just like we go through those weeks right now where there's no rhyme or reason to it, really.
It is just, I say when people ask what's your elevator pitch about the market, the most consistent thing about the market is the inconsistency in the market right now. And it's really interesting because there's an actual article that you and I were talking about in the Dallas Business Journal that was talking about how this next month could be one of the big months to sell. And they had three really great points. And they talked about higher inventory, prices coming down, and also rates coming down. And I think we're seeing that right here starting to bubble up. So this will be something, this market watch will be something to keep your eye on. One of the things you and I always like to do is follow up with Jeremy with SWBC and find out if he's seeing an uptick in the mortgage applications, because that's one of our big indicators that we're going to see a wave of buyers start to enter into the market. So that'll be something that we'll let y'all know if we find out that is actually increasing.
So let's jump right into our house.
Do it.
So this is 2703 Wellborn Street in the Mansion Park area of Dallas. This is a three-story brick townhome that has no HOA. They have a party wall agreement between the units, but there are no HOA fees. Everybody's responsible for their own unit.
That's great.
It's really great. This is a small 6-unit community that is super convenient, just a block off of Cedar Springs. You can walk over to the Katy Trail. It's getting in and out of here is amazing because you've got access to the tollway and I-35, and it's just incredible how you can get around.
You know, the other thing too is this sits, and I say that epicenter adjacent. So you're against kind of the Oak Lawn area. You're kind of against the Uptown area. But now you're also really starting to step into the design district as it really begins to grow. And so this is, no matter which direction you go, there is something to do in this area. And as you were saying, commuting is easy. If you are a commuter that needs access to the airports, this is really, really close to the love field, but not so much in the flight pattern. Probably a 2-minute, 3-minute Uber ride. And then even further, if you're going to DFW, which you're going to go 183, entering probably on the south side of the airport, that's probably 23, 27 minutes away, just kind of depending on traffic. But this is a really great location, whether it's for travel, for work, or it's just for social. This is a perfect location to be in.
And one of the things that the locals love here is Turtle Creek Trail. We don't talk about this much. because we usually end up talking about the Katy Trail, but the Turtle Creek Trail is a little over 2 miles long. It is paved through the Turtle Creek riverbanks, goes from Avondale all the way down into Maple, and it's a really nice. I always think it's a cooler trail than what Katy Trail can be, because you are down in most parts of it inside the creek bed. So just getting down in the shade and in that makes it a little cooler for you.
The other thing too is it does the way that Katy Trail has developed. It actually has access back and forth at a couple of points onto this. So you do have the access. I think it's one of them's right to the north of the Katy Trail Ice House. So other over here, there's a lot to eat. So we had a lot to choose from. We have a lot of places to go drink. So we narrowed it down to one that does both really well, in our opinion. That's Enoteca. Enoteca is a little restaurant that is right there. If you knew where Steele is, right there at Wellburn and Cedar Springs, it's on the corner. One of the great things about this location is parking is usually difficult here in this uptown area. There's great parking under the big building here, which makes it really nice. The other thing too is the parking lot is really light and bright, so it's really safe. Food up there is amazing. Really good bar to sit at. I've done that many times. I've eaten there. And then also the owners always come out and check on you.
Yeah.
And I love that. I think it is just the touch that separates like a big block from the intimate, even though this has a little bit larger of a footprint.
And their bruschetta is amazing. Their veal meatballs are absolutely amazing. If you go, you have to try those. And the focaccia bread, I can make a meal out of the focaccia bread.
Well, their martinis are really good too. So
I'll have to try the focaccia and the martini.
Do it. You will not be sad.
The last thing that we wanted to talk about, locals love, is called Theater 3. And Theater 3 is a live performance venue in the it's in the Uptown area at the Quadrangle, which is now called the Q. The Quad, excuse me. It's called the Quad. And Theater 3 was actually founded back in 1961 by these 4 people that were all actors, actresses. The theater itself kind of bounced around. It was at the Sheraton Hotel in one of their showrooms when it first started. It went over to Deep Ellum and spent some time over there. It has actually been in the Quadrangle since 1969.
It's a great place.
It really is, and they do a lot of original stuff. Like the current piece that is going on right now, I really want to go see. It is it's
called The Trade.
It's called the Trade. A Misery in 4 Quarters or something like that. Right there, tragedy in 4 quarters. And apparently this is about the Luka Doncic trade.
It's a spoof.
It's a spoof on it. And it's I after reading the synopsis, I'm really interested in going to see it. I've been to this theater, I don't know, 10 times I'm going to say. And there was one of the experiences that I had was with this theater in the round concept. You have a small area that you walk into the theater, but there's seats all the way around the entire stage. And we were there seeing Tennessee Williams' A Streetcar Named Desire. And there is a scene where this man and woman are lying in bed and they're talking about something that's going on, and they start to get a little unhappy with one another, and so they both kind of sit up and separate a little bit, and the man sits up, and he puts his feet down on the floor, and he's still he's topless, but he's still got a sheet draped around him. And I'm looking where I'm seated, I'm looking at the back of him, and so at this very dramatic moment, he just stands up and the sheet disappears and he is naked. And I'm looking across the theater and there are these 2 little women older women sitting there that just have these like, what? Because I don't think they expected full frontal
nudity.
Full frontal nudity.
What year was this?
Oh gosh, it was probably in the early 90s. So
that's a lot.
It was fun. So Go support Theater 3. They really put on some really great performances.
And moving right along, we'll go ahead and jump into the property at 2703 Wellburn Drive. This is 75219. Again, Jeff said this is in Mansion Park. This is a great portion of Dallas. Has a lot of walkable area, whether you're going over to Turtle Creek Trail or just staying in the neighborhood. One of the things that I really liked about the way this house set is that it's actually at the back of the lot. And I thought that kind of gets you off of the street and really just makes it much more quiet and more of an intimate setting.
So this is the downstairs bedroom. I was really impressed with this unit. 2-bedroom, 2.5 bath. Downstairs, you've got a little bit, this is kind of a common outdoor space that is off of the front of it. You do have a little bit of private outdoor space on the back of each one. This is, as you come up to the second floor, this is the living room, gas fireplace. I think these are 9-foot ceilings on this level, but it feels very open and very expansive.
So this is a really good use of the way the space flows. We're going to look at the floor plan a little bit later on, but you're going to see that you're going to have 1 bedroom downstairs. And then as you come up to the second floor, what you have is you have more of the living area. So we've got both living, dining, and kitchen area. And one of the things that I really liked about it was how many windows they had. And these windows are more northwest, north facing. So they get good light, but not overwhelmed with light.
Granite countertops, nice custom cabinetry. You do have gas in it. Wood floors pretty much throughout the unit. I think the bedrooms are carpeted, but they have these really nice, very glossy wood floors with big floor-to-ceiling windows. Like you said, the light's just amazing in them.
And I think that a lot of times we get into the condos and townhomes and we don't really feel like a home. Does that make sense? Yeah. Whereas I feel like the way that this is situated, the way that it lays out, it all just works really well. And so when you come up to the second floor, you've got a little landing area or the third floor, you've got a little area where you can have seating, but then you have this really large master bedroom that has, again, wonderful windows and tray ceilings, just about as big as you can get.
It is. That's a king-size bed, and you've still got all that space. And then you've got all of these built-ins that for closet space along and storage along the one wall. Still plenty of room for the TV, trade ceilings. This is the master bathroom, which I was, again, blown away at how large and expansive this is.
It's the right configuration. So in this price point, in this area, the double vanities, the separate tub, separate shower, the tile work that is done, it all kind of hits that look that is really pretty much sought after, demanded. Here we see just the floor plan you can see in the third, first, and second floor, but all of them are pretty generous. Like even downstairs, we're talking about a 13, almost 14 by 13, really great sized bedroom.
So this is 2703 Wellborn Street in Dallas. This is a 2-bedroom, 2.5 bath, 2-car garage, almost 2,200 square feet, priced at an incredible $865,000, and that brings us in just under $400 a square foot.
That is amazing. So we also want to say thank you so much to Garrett Holloway for allowing us to feature his amazing listing. There'll be a link to the property inside of the comments below. That way you can share them with your friends, scroll back through them because there are other pictures that we didn't use. And if it's a house that you'd like to see, let us know and we'd be happy to make that happen.
And guess what we're going to talk about next?
Tell me.
Price it.
Price it what?
Price it. Price it. Price it right.
Price it right. Move it fast, Jeff.
Price it right, move it fast. That's what we're going to talk about.
This is critical. And I think that this is one of those topics that you really have to like nail it. Because it sets the tone and expectations for the entire listing that you have. Mm-hmm. And that's what we're talking about when we're working with our sellers. And we thought that it would be important kind of like just to share how you and I think and what we try to share with people to set realistic expectations. Because there's nothing worse than being in a relationship and it doesn't go the way you thought it was.
And you know, over 70% of the houses that sell have price reductions on them.
And that's
at
currently.
Some point. Yeah.
Yes.
This is over the last 6 months.
That
70% of them have had to have. But the number of houses that don't have to have a price change on them those closed in a median time of 8 days on market.
That doesn't surprise me either, because we've always told our clients that there's pent-up buyers who have shopped your neighborhood, who know what they want, and when it comes on the market, they're the ones that will make the best, the fastest offer, and have no hesitations. They also make offers that they're serious about.
Yeah.
So there's no like, I want this, and I need you to throw this in,
Right.
and I want you to extend that. They know they're going to get it.
And most sellers cut prices. You know, over 70% have some price reduction or multiple price reductions done. And what we found in kind of parsing through the data is that most of those price cuts are pretty meaningful. I mean, they're averaging 4.78%, which is about $25,000 when you look at what the median sales prices are here.
And you know, you were talking about how if they don't have a price reduction, they're selling in 8 days. But the ones that do have to have price reductions, their days on market is extended. We're talking like 44 days on the market. And that's not terrible, but it is a big shift from what sellers still think the market could be like. They still hold on to that.
And this, you can really see how this kind of goes throughout. So this is single family homes, 300 to 3 million. There were active listings, price change. So 40% of the listings out there have had price changes in the last 30 days. Another 25% have had price changes in the last 14 days, and another 15% have had price changes done in the last 7 days.
And that, to me, that makes sense, because I think that we typically know on the 14th day. I think 7 days, unless you just absolutely, as an agent, know you have way overpriced it and you are getting nothing. We like at least 2 weekends to go by. And you and I are super picky about what is happening on the weekend that we're going to bring on the market. We are always mindful of that.
And this really kind of translates through whatever price you're in. One of the other slides we're going to show you is the reduction share by band. And this is like the first column is homes that are $300,000 to $500,000. And these are the no change band. So
Right.
these are the ones that have not done a price reduction at all that have sold. So in the 300 to 500, 10% of those didn't have a price reduction. In the 5 to 750, 9.4 didn't have a price reduction. And you can see how that goes on.
But they're all just barely in the double digits.
Yeah.
I mean, except for the 5 to 700.
Yeah.
And I think 5 to 750 is probably where we're seeing a larger focus inside the 635 in the Dallas area. So that probably is why that looks like that. But the rest of the numbers, those all line up with what I'd expect.
And so let's look at what priced right looks like. So this is where the listing price is aligned with recent comps and current buyer behavior. And that is, you really have to look at both of those things, because one of them is strictly has to do with pricing in the neighborhood, but you also have to look at trends in neighborhoods. And let's say you've got a 3-bedroom house in a neighborhood that has primarily 3 bedrooms and 4-bedroom homes in it, and the 4 bedrooms are selling at a faster rate, and they're selling at a higher dollar per square foot. You really can't just average that into the 3-bedroom
Correct.
houses. You have to really focus and make adjustments downward to apply the right price to your 3-bedroom.
And we're also talking about what does it look like when you're priced right. When you're priced right, within those first 2 weeks, the activity that you have on your house should almost be uncomfortable. Like it should become like they're coming back. It's a great thing, and it's what we want. The other thing too is you should have really strong activity at the open houses.
Yeah.
If not both, at least the first one should really knock it out of the park. And those are huge indicators, along with other things where we see how many times our links are shared or how many saves they have from our websites. These are indicators that let us know that both A, our marketing, and B, the pricing is hitting that first 2 weeks hard.
And you don't have to negotiate as much. Your offers
That's
are
true.
going to come in with better terms. They're going to come in with less wiggle room. They're going to come in as a more serious offer. And, you know, I think that a first price reduction is a real sign to the market that that you're not as strong of a seller as you thought you were. I think the second thing that is a challenge is if your house goes under contract and then falls out, that is another another indication that you have to come back to the market, and you have to come back very strong.
So the cost of overpricing your house, are you ready to go into that? That is something that, and I think there's monetary, for sure. There's your mortgage, there's your taxes, the heating and cooling, there's the HOA, there's that. But there's also the cost of what message you are sending buyers. And I think one time I heard it explained like fruit is the freshest the first day on the market. And I think when we think about houses and real estate, we kind of have to anticipate that they're a piece of fruit. The longer they sit, the more they get bruised and the less fresh they look. And someone starts wondering what's wrong with them.
Yeah, it creates market stigma.
Yep, exactly.
There's also, it's very important to price your home in the right price band. If you think your house is worth $1,050,000, it might be wise to consider pricing it as $999,000, $999,000 to get it under that $1 million, because there are search bands where priced at $1,050,000, you might not be coming into searches with people that are great buyers for your home, or that might pay you $1,050,000 for it.
You also get in a situation where you're going to have the slower traffic if you're not inside those searches. We will usually bump up just to go past that, just to find if there is like a price reduction, because we're looking for those ones that have had the price reduction that we can then move our buyers into, because we know that they're no longer a tier 1 property.
Right. So how do you set the best list price? Number one, look at comparables from the last 60 to 90 days. I cannot tell you the number of times we've gone to a listing appointment and somebody says, well, the house over there sold at $582,000. Oh, when did it sell? Well, I think it was 2 years ago.
And that's the craziest thing, because that always throws me off. I'm like, we did not miss a comp. What are, unless it's off market. So it does throw me when they throw things out there like that.
And I think it's very important to weight the size of your house, which means compare it only to other houses that are of that size. Weight the finish of it, because if your house is completely redone top to bottom inside, there's going to be financial value in that compared to most homes that are just average in condition. And schools play a very important factor in value as well.
Schools for me are, especially when we're talking like in certain pockets of Dallas, that it is a huge driver. In other areas, it just doesn't even matter in Dallas. The other thing to me that I always think about is the geographic boundaries. Is there a major through street that is dividing the neighborhood? What happens when we go on the other side versus this side? I think those are one of the big ones, because people will always ask, well, you didn't pull anything over there. Well, those lots are, a third larger, so I can't really use those for yours, but we figured it out.
Yeah. And one of the really important things that we always like to do is we will take listed clients out and let them look at the competition. We'll make appointments and spend an afternoon going house to house to house in their neighborhood, so we know what other buyers are going to be seeing when they come and walk into that home. And I think that makes a big difference. As long as the seller is honest and they're looking at it without rose-colored glasses on, I think it's very helpful.
The other thing too that you and I do, and I think our clients always like this, is when we present, we always say, this is the price, but then we always use the phrase that we want to come back days before it goes live to verify that the market hasn't altered. A, that it hasn't gone up with an amazing comp, or B, that it hasn't descended, and we need to really then rethink the program. But that really does put people at ease that they're not leaving money on the table. I think that's huge for them, because sometimes people can't bring a house on the market for 30 days, but they want to get it, soft, quiet, marketed, and they want to start the process. So,
and I think it does help sometimes to get agents to come through listings before they actually go live on the market, because they can point out things that we might not see and the seller might not see, and we need to be prepared to address those items, whether it's you taking care of them and repainting that room, or if it's just knowing that just knowing there's something that a buyer is going to assume they have to do and know what the cost of that is.
And I think we are lucky because we're in an office and we're with a company and we have the reputation where people will help us out and make sure that we do hit the market in the right spot.
So we hope you found this helpful. If there are any questions you have about pricing your home correctly, give us a call. We would be happy to answer that for you.
And just remember, we want to be your realtors for life.
Did you know there are a lot of ways you can keep up with us? For starters, every Wednesday at noon, we host Sold with Updike Pugh, live from our Facebook and YouTube channels. Our show is dedicated to featuring some of the best homes in the Dallas market and about sharing timely information about market trends. But don't worry if you missed the show, because you can always listen to them on SoundCloud, iTunes, and Spotify.
Still want more? Follow us on Instagram, where you get a first-hand look at what it's like to be a realtor. And it's not always previewing homes for clients or getting them ready to go live in MLS. Lastly, visit our website and you'll be able to create a custom home search tailored specifically to your wants and needs that's timely and accurate. Whether it's square foot, location, or the neighborhood, we have you covered.
If you'd like to know how much your home is worth, we can help with that too. Just visit homeprice.fyi, enter a few pieces of information like your home address, and we'll email you a price. When you're ready to talk real estate, you can reach us online, by phone, or by text at 214-377-2223.
And remember, we want to be your realtors for life.
Did you know there are a lot of ways you can keep up with us? For starters, every Wednesday at noon, we host Sold with Updike Pugh, live from our Facebook and YouTube channels. Our show is dedicated to featuring some of the best homes in the Dallas market and about sharing timely information about market trends. But don't worry if you missed the show, because you can always listen to them on SoundCloud, iTunes, and Spotify.
Still want more? Follow us on Instagram, where you get a first-hand look at what it's like to be a realtor. And it's not always previewing homes for clients or getting them ready to go live in MLS. Lastly, visit our website and you'll be able to create a custom home search tailored specifically to your wants and needs that's timely and accurate. Whether it's square foot, location, or the neighborhood, we have you covered.
If you'd like to know how much your home is worth, we can help with that too. Just visit homeprice.fyi, enter a few pieces of information like your home address, and we'll email you a price. When you're ready to talk real estate, you can reach us online, by phone, or by text at 214-377-2223.
And remember, we want to be your realtors for life.